Hello, ni hao, bonjour, konnichiwa, hola, habari, mulishani, and wagwan. Welcome to Beyond Borders podcast. If you're new here, I'm your host, Dr. Charity Campbell Capella, known in the travel space as Doctora the Explorer, but mostly known as Dr. CK. Here at Beyond Borders, I share transformative travel experiences and cultural insights and help you see that cultural intelligence touches every part of our lives. What's up, bridge builders? Happy Wednesday and welcome back to Beyond Borders, where we break down travel, cultural intelligence, and global opportunities so you can navigate the world with confidence. I am your host, Dr. CK, and you know what? Today we are diving into a question that I have been hearing a lot of people ask themselves. Is it time to leave the U.S.? I'm going to ask it again. Is it time to leave the U.S.? With political shifts, economic uncertainty, and layoffs hitting the federal workforce left and right, more Americans are wondering if moving abroad is the answer. But is it really as simple as just packing your bags and booking a one-way flight? Let's talk about the realities of expatriation, what it takes, what to consider, and whether it's the right move for you. So why are we even having this conversation, first of all? The numbers don't lie, friend. Every time there's a major political shift in the U.S., there is a spike in Americans Googling phrases like how to move to Canada or best countries for Americans to live. But this time, it feels different. And I think you would agree with me. The economy is shaky, inflation is real, and federal job cuts have left thousands wondering what's next. And some people are fed up with the political climate, while others just want a more stable and affordable lifestyle. But before you sell everything and move to Costa Rica, let's talk about what it really takes to relocate successfully. Now listen, I get it, okay? The idea of starting fresh in a beautiful, affordable country sounds amazing. And for some, it truly is. For me, it was. Despite all the unsolicited fear that people had with me moving to China, it turned out to be one of the best decisions I had ever made in my life. But here's a reality check. Moving abroad is not a vacation. It is a full-on life transition. And so in this episode, I want to share 3 key things to consider before making that leap. First things first, visas and legalities. Every country has different immigration policies. You can't just show up and decide to stay. Now, some places do offer easy residency programs like Portugal, Mexico, and Thailand, while others make it nearly impossible unless you have a job offer or a ton of money. Now, if you're thinking about working abroad, you need to understand work visas, tax laws, and whether your skills are in demand. The second thing to consider is the cost of living versus the quality of life. Yes, some countries are way more affordable than the U.S., China being one of them. But affordability doesn't always mean comfort. Ask yourself the following questions. Can you handle a different healthcare system? What about safety? Will you miss certain conveniences? A $500 a month beachfront apartment sounds great until you realize that there's no reliable Wi-Fi and power outages are like a weekly thing. Now, I will tell you that living in China, first of all, I'm just being totally honest, I never wanted to move to China in the first place. Like, I hadn't considered it. It was a student of mine when I was teaching at a community college in Greensboro, North Carolina, back in 2016. I had one student that was from China. All the others were immigrants and refugees from 20 different countries. And so I was asking the students what they thought about, living abroad and all the things like that. And I was applying to the Middle East at the time. I had my heart set on Abu Dhabi. I was like, the money is good. Oh, I could have an amazing lifestyle in Abu Dhabi. Like, yes, it's expensive there, but they take care of teachers. But God did not allow me to do that. He had that door all the way shut tight. You hear me? And so as I was dealing with the disappointment of not being, I guess, what they wanted, I had several offers from China. And I was like, they're not paying anything close to what these other educational institutions are offering. And I remember the student told me, teacher, it's not about how much money you make, but how much money you can save. The cost of living in China is really, really low, so you could have a very good quality of life. And it was that simple message that made me say, what's the worst that could happen? Just go for a year, figure it out, and then if you want to leave, leave. But at least you would have made the decision based on your own experience and not based on fear from other people. And so everything was different. I can tell you that now. There were so many things that were different, but I enjoyed it so much. After I got over certain aspects of cultural shock in the beginning, like the first year, because listen, there's still some aspects of culture shock that even after living there for 5 years, it still bothered me. It still bothered me. But overall, it was one of the greatest decisions of my life, but I had to weigh my options. I had to think about these questions that I'm asking you. The other thing is cultural adaptation and cultural intelligence. The biggest mistake people make is assuming that life abroad will be just like life in America, but cheaper. Learning the language, adapting to local customs, and understanding cultural norms are non-negotiable if you want to thrive abroad. There were several teachers that I had come in contact with when I moved to China that so many of them, they broke their contracts. They didn't last an entire year, let alone a few months, because the culture shock is real. In order for you to be able to thrive abroad, you have to become a global citizen. You can't just be an American thinking that you are going to live in a different country and still have America 24/7. That's not the case. And this is where cultural intelligence comes in, your ability to adjust and work effectively across different cultures. Because, friend, let me tell you something, without it, you are going to struggle for sure. Now, I'm not trying to scare you away from the idea. I'm just here to help you make an informed decision, because moving abroad can be life-changing. It can be amazing, but I will be honest, it's not for everyone. So here's who might actually benefit from making the move. Remote workers and digital nomads. If your income isn't tied to the US, you have more flexibility. Also, retirees with stable income. Some countries offer retirement visas with low financial requirements. Then you have professionals in high-demand fields. If you work in IT, healthcare, or education, you might be able to find a solid job opportunity abroad. And then, of course, people truly ready for cultural immersion. If you're excited to learn new languages, embrace new ways of life, and adapt, then you will thrive. But if your move is purely fueled by fear, hear me when I say this. Whether that's fear of politics, the economy, or just wanting to escape, friend, take a pause. If your move is fueled entirely by fear, take a pause. Because no matter where you go, life will have challenges. You will experience discrimination. It may not be 24/7, but at some point you are going to come across someone who may not be culturally intelligent, who may have never seen someone that looks like you before, and they may be a bit insensitive. It's not in every country, it's not all around the world, but you could end up in a place where somebody is like that. And a reactionary move can lead to disappointment, and definitely disappointment will lead to regret. So the question is, should you stay or should you go? The answer is not a one-size-fits-all, but if you're thinking about leaving, start with research, clarity, and a solid plan, not just frustration. And of course, if you need guidance on making a smart, culturally intelligent move, I got you, friend. In the next episode, we're going to talk about how to future-proof your career in a shaky economy, whether you stay in the U.S. or choose to take your skills abroad. So remember to hit that subscribe button and let's keep the conversation going. If you love this episode, share it with someone who's considering a big move because it just might help them make the right decision. Listen, I want to thank you for listening to Beyond Borders podcast. I can't express my gratitude enough. It humbles me to know that you tune in every week to learn from me. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the Beyond Borders podcast. Download today's episode, rate, comment, and share so we can ignite a cultural revolution all across the globe. I also invite you to connect with me on YouTube, Pinterest, and my newest adventure, Substack. Let me know what kind of cultural insights and travel experiences you'd like to see more of. Also, if you have any questions or would like to be a guest on the show, please email me at charity@drtheexplorer.com and someone will respond in a timely manner. Thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time, remember to keep your mind open and your suitcase ready. See you in the next episode as we go Beyond Borders.